What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the new player guides for DC Legends. As you see, we are closing in on our first month in the game for DC Legends. And if you're not familiar with this series, I do, I guess, beginners for DC Legends and all the things that you need to know, all the guides you need to know for all the game modes. So if you're looking for something specific, check the playlist and hopefully you find it there. But today in this video, we're going to talk about farming. We're going to talk about what characters in the beginning chapters of the game mode in which you should be farming, and then all of the red alerts. Which characters out of those should you really be doing 2 or 3 times? And then towards the end, I'm going to do a tier list, which I guess is kind of subjective, but it's going to be about, you know, basically who I like to play and who I think maybe you should go after and what characters I think are the best, as more geared towards new player guides. If you're looking for end player guides, DCL Toolkit, link is in the description. Go check that out. That is PvP end game tier lists and stuff like that. We're focusing on beginners though. All of the characters you can get in the beginning of the game and that tier list. So if you do enjoy, hit the thumbs up. Let me know if I missed anything or if you disagree, agree, or whatever. First, let's jump into farming in the heroic campaign. Now, again, this is geared more towards beginner players. We are only 4 weeks into the game right now. Now, obviously, later on, a month or 2 later, you should be getting the whole campaign done, or I don't know, if you just plan on keeping low level your entire DC Legends career, I guess that's fine too. But we're going to talk about which characters to farm for the first few chapters of the campaign. Now, I only did it up to chapter 4. Now, you could go into chapter 5. The only new character in chapter 5 is Hawk Girl at the very end of that. And then it's not until chapter 8, which is Black Adam, which you do get a new character then. But we're going to focus on the first 4 chapters. Now, when it comes to farming, obviously you have a limited amount of energy unless you just want to spend a ridiculous amount of gems on refreshing your energy. You kind of have a limited amount of energy. So you're going to want to focus on specific nodes, and you definitely want to avoid specific nodes. And when it comes to nodes that I think you should avoid, assuming that you're playing all the game modes, you really want to avoid the nodes that have the same characters in other parts of like the store. For example, we're in the arena store right now. So if you play a ton of arena, you're going to open a ton of arena packs. And therefore, you're going to be able to get Harley Quinn, Cyborg, Bane, and Batman, all of which are available in the campaign. So I definitely would not hit or waste any energy on those, because when you open these packs, those characters that you should get the majority of the time. Same thing goes for Alliance packs. We have a Green Arrow, we have Yellow Lantern Sinestro. Both of those are available in the campaign. Definitely would not hit those if you plan on opening up Alliance packs. We also have Deadshot, Black Canary. We also have Dr. Fate as well. So all of those characters you should definitely avoid it. Actually, Black Canary isn't until later on. But Dr. Fate is in the red alerts. Same with Deadshot. So you can also get them in other game modes. So I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned about farming, because you can pick them up in packs as well. And then the other nodes that I would avoid are the other ones that are available in Red Alert. Now, if you're interested in knowing which characters are in Red Alert, again, go to DCLToolkit.com. There's a calendar on there in which tells you which characters are available which day. But characters like Huntress is available in the red alerts. We have characters like Solomon Grundy also available in red alerts. There are quite a few characters in which you can get in red alerts by itself. Who else we got? We have Chemo is another one which is available in red alerts. There's just a wide variety of characters in the first few chapters of the campaign that you can not only get in packs, but you can get in red alerts. So when it comes to farming and using your energy, avoid wasting your energy on those specific characters. So that leaves what characters are left for you to farm. In chapter 1, the only node that I would farm is Green Lantern. Now currently, again, those packs, the Alliance pack and the Arena pack, all of those are the characters that are in there right now are obviously subject to change. So depending on when you're watching this video, it could be a little bit later and the characters are changed. And so I would take a look at what characters are in the packs then and then compare it to at least the ones that are in campaign now. But as far as what we got now, and as far as what's in the packs now, at least as far as the first chapter goes, I would only farm the Green Lantern. You could farm Zatanna if you want to, but I don't think she's necessarily a character that is probably worth farming, at least to me, and at least wasting your energy on. Bane we can get somewhere else. Same with Green Arrow, Cyborg, Huntress, Chemo, Zatanna. All of those characters you could get in other forms of the game mode. And so as far as chapter 2 goes, the last 2 nodes are the only one that I would farm, which is Lex Luthor and Green Lantern. Farm both of those, and preferably Lex Luthor multiple times a day. That is probably going to be your #1 character, at least in the beginning. 1, because his kit is awesome. And for 2, at rank 4, he becomes a team leader, which like Green Lantern, on the other hand, you have to have him to rank 5 in order to get him as a team leader. So it almost benefits you, obviously, to push a little bit harder for Lex Luthor. Not only is his kit better and he's a better character, but he has the team leader passives earlier on as most characters, since he is an older character. As far as chapter 3 goes, this is when we're going to start coming to Cheetah. Now, I would say as far as campaign goes, she is your second most important character. Lex Luthor #1, Cheetah #2. And so I would farm every single node with Cheetah. And once we get to the tier list, I guess I'll explain a little bit more into why Cheetah is so good and why beginning players need a character like Cheetah, especially to diversify your roster. She does bring something to the team leader slot later on once you get to the legendary ranks that you really will need if you don't have other characters. But then we have Green Lantern again, Harley Quinn we can get somewhere else, Batman we can get somewhere else, Bane, and then Green Lantern and Cheetah as well. And then the last one that I would farm is Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira, which I really like. I personally really like her. She doesn't necessarily fall into too many team comps, and there are a lot better options, but personally I like using her, and I think she is worth it as far as her kit goes. She does have a pretty solid kit, so I would certainly farm her. And then the last one, chapter 5, we got another Lex Luthor node at the very beginning. Zatanna, I think you can skip. Green Arrow, again, you can get somewhere else. Same with Grundy, you can get somewhere else. Farm Cheetah, Cyborg, Bane, Huntress, you can all get somewhere else. And then the last one of chapter 4 is going to be Flash. He is pretty solid as well, and with the addition, I guess, of the latest speedsters to the game, he's certainly a lot of fun to play with if you have some of the other speedsters. And as far as chapter 5 goes, the only new character available in chapter 5 that you can't get anywhere else in the game is going to be Hawk Girl. And she is pretty good, so if you can get chapter 5 done without completely messing up your roster and increasing your level too high, then you could do it. But then after that, it's not till chapter 8 that you get a new character. So I wouldn't worry about it if you can't get past chapter 5 at the very beginning. So that pretty much covers the campaign farming. Now we do have Red Alert farming, which I would certainly recommend doing this at definitely once a day. If you can, twice a day. I still, since the very beginning, just put this thing on auto and do it 2 to 3 times a day. We're going to do a 30-day roster review here in a couple days. I'm sure that if you see this video a little bit later, just check back So you kind of compare where your roster's at after the end of 30 days, free to play, all of that stuff. But anyway, red alerts. Farm this absolutely as much as possible. They have a ton of good characters in here right now. Today, at least, we have Green Arrow, we got Catwoman, and we got Power Girl. So if you farm this twice, I mean, you could get 50 fragments of Power Girl, 24 of Catwoman, and then, 8 of Green Arrow, or 3 times even, which I do because some characters like Arcus do take 90 fragments. Same with White Lantern. Sinestro take 90 fragments to unlock in this game mode. So you do have to do it a couple times, or at least wait a couple days or a week later to for them to come around. That's why just farm red alerts. You'll get tons of fragments, level them up pretty easy. The only other place that you can really farm characters, I mean, in the arena store you can open up arena packs, but you're not guaranteed any specific characters. The only other place that you're guaranteed specific characters is through the Alliance, and we could buy single characters with Alliance credits. Enchantress right now we could buy 6 of. Kid Flash we can buy 4 of. And if you're curious, you know what's in rotation, there's no like guarantee of when a character is gonna pop up. But all of these characters that are in the Alliance packs will pop up at some point. Now, as far as farming goes, these do take quite a bit of time, because unless you're in a super big alliance or a super active alliance, it will take a while to build up your Alliance credits. But as far as these go, I mean, I personally like Wonder Woman. I personally like Enchantress, and I do like Dr. Fate. Kid Flash is a lot of fun, so I like him. I would only get the characters, though, that you cannot get anywhere else, so that would actually rule out Dr. Fate. I wouldn't even bother getting him, because you can get him in red alerts instead. But Enchantress, Wonder Woman, and Kid Flash are probably the 3 that I would really focus on. You could probably get Penguin too. He's okay. He's not too bad. Clayface is okay as well. But it's kind of up to you. Just whichever one. Shazam is actually not that bad either. So little baby boy Shazam. But any of those, probably pretty good, but that's the only other place to farm. Keep in mind, I also have an endgame account, which I am considering when I am doing this tier list. So what characters I kind of use a lot endgame, as well as which characters I found super useful at the beginning of the game, as well as mid-tier. So it's kind of everything mixed up, which I could use in PvP, what can I use in red alerts, everything combined, and I'll kind of give my thoughts as we're going through each one of them. But first up, we got Arcus. We're just going to put him in an S tier because the second comes out, the second that you unlock him, 90 fragments from red alerts, extremely useful. I use him in absolutely everything. He hits like a truck. He has sustain. He applies shield, all of that stuff. And so he even applies himself taunt. He has retaliations as well. So everything for beginners. He is probably one of the most useful in the very beginning. Now towards the late game, there are other characters that you can use instead, and I don't necessarily have a whole lot of trouble. I do have some trouble facing Arcus towards endgame, but not always. Bane. I don't like Bane at all. I think he is completely useless. He is completely useless at the beginning of the game, and he's kind of useless towards the end game. Now, keep this in mind, is that almost every single character, you can find some use for them. Yes, you can find some team comp in which they fit okay. So no character is going to be F. At least as far as what I think, no character is going to be F or the bottom or garbage. Any of that type of tier, I'm just going to put it all the way down to D. And D is what I would say is the absolute least useful. And only farm him if you're a fan of Bane, I guess, and want to use him. Batman, again, another character which is completely useless. He has been in raids before, and he does hit pretty hard when he's in raids as a multiplier, and he can hit pretty hard in the game, but his kit, again, is just not useful to me. I don't find him useful at all. Captain Cold. I love Captain Cold. I love this guy. I love his kit. The only thing bad about Captain Cold is in order to really make the most out of his kit, he has to be a team leader, unfortunately. But his team leader ability, his team leader passive ability with his little retaliation or whatever, I really like. And so if you can find other heroes to use with Captain Cold that has, you know, speed downs and slows and even stuns and all of that stuff, I personally really like Captain Cold. I find him pretty useful in the beginning, and I even still use him today with a lot of speed teams or slowdown teams and stuff like that. Maybe not the most popular, but I personally like him. Catwoman. Not very useful at all. She does have invisibility, I think. That's pretty much the only thing that I could remember. She can clear buffs. Other than that, I really don't. I don't ever use Catwoman. Honestly, I don't ever use Catwoman. I think later on in her legendary, if you get her to L1 at least, you can unlock a legendary point that clears all buffs on a single target, I think, if I remember right. Next one, we got Camo. I'm going to put him in A tier because at the start of the game, the day that it launches, the second you unlock Camo, he is one of the characters that is very useful at 2 stars, and from that point on, Camo is extremely useful. He has turn down meter, he applies slows to entire teams, he applies bleeds to entire teams. So his kit, even from the very beginning at 2 star, I have found extremely useful. I don't necessarily use him too much anymore unless I like put in a bleed team or something like that, or if I put him with Captain Cold in the beginning anyway, because I have other greens that I use instead, like when I unlocked Arcus, for example. I use Arcus a lot, but he is still extremely useful, no doubt about it. Cheetah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing character. Not in the beginning, though. Cheetah, I have found not very useful in the beginning. She can apply bleeds, which go really good with Siren and helping Siren's kit a lot. And she does purge a buff, but until she can really get into the legendary ranks is when she really, really shines. Now, there is a character in the game, Martian Manhunter, in which if he is team lead, applies turn meter to the entire team. Most new players, including me, even though I'm not a new player, I don't have Martian Manhunter. So if I'm facing a team in PvP that has Martian Manhunter, they automatically get 20% turn meter at the start of the battle, and that's really hard to compete with if you don't have characters like Cheetah. And Cheetah is the only character in the beginning of the game that can manipulate turn meter, but you have to get her to L2, which means that's a lot of fragments. So you have to start farming Cheetah now. So that's what I would do. Cyborg, not very good. I hate to say it, he's a Titan. I absolutely love Titans, but he's not very good. Deadshot. He is okay. And actually, you know what? I'm actually going to put him up at B. Deadshot is okay because he is one of the very few characters. Actually, he might be the only character, as I'm looking through this, that has a can't miss attack. I think you have to get him to L2, maybe L4. No, I mean not L4, rank 4. If you get him to rank 4, one of his passives is all of his attacks is can't miss. And in the beginning of the game, you're going to face a lot of Black Canaries and things like that that put hit chance downs on you. And having him, along with Huntress, who has evades, having him be your only attacker that can guarantee a hit has been useful. So in the beginning, he is useful. He is a team leader, and he does have a pretty decent legendary point, which applies everybody the first shot crit attack, which you can blow people up if a dead shot is a lead. So I'm gonna say that he's okay. He's solid. He's like a B, I think. Deathstroke, not very good. Honestly, I don't ever use Deathstroke. I don't ever use Deathstroke on my other account. I don't use him now. I face him a lot, and he stacks tons of awarenesses, and he can apply silence and all that stuff, but his kit is pretty much useless to me. Dr. Fate. We're going to go Dr. Fate with a B. Now, I don't use Dr. Fate towards endgame, but in the beginning, Dr. Fate is one of the characters that I bring into my red alerts every single time and auto that thing. And so his kit at the very beginning of the game, unlocked at 2-star, is extremely useful. I really like Dr. Fate in the beginning of the game. I don't use him near as much towards the end game, but he does still have a pretty decent kit for you to use. So I would certainly recommend farming Dr. Fate. Again, for red alerts, it's auto all day long, and Dr. Fate is one of the ones that I use. Etrigan. I'm personally going to put Etrigan at a B. He's another character in which I think is okay. And he used to be, maybe about a year ago, played all of the time. His kit is really good for sustain, and he can, once he gets ramped up, just absolutely go off on people and on teams in PvP. In early game, he does have a decent kit for sustain because he can overheal every time you kill an enemy. So as far as red alerts go, he can be one that you can put into red alerts as long as you have him to like rank, I think it's rank, I think it's rank 2, maybe rank 4 actually, maybe rank 4. Part of his passive, he can get an overheal every time a enemy dies. And so that's really nice. And as far as legendary goes, you don't see much play of him, and he is kind of easy to deal with, but he is sort of useful, at least for in the beginning. I don't use him hardly at all. Flash. I'm going to put him at C. Now, the only reason I'm putting him at C is because of the ridiculous amount of flashes we now have, and the last month of the inclusion of 2 more flashes into the game. And so if you have all these flashes on your team, in which I have now, even for my first 30 days, I think I got like 5 of them or something like that. He sees the least amount of play. And I have actually the least amount of fragments for him because he is the very last node of 4. He's not bad. He is not a bad character. I just would not necessarily waste the time on using him, or there's just other flashes that I would rather use instead of him. Green Arrow. Kind of mediocre. He's okay. He's another team leader. He can apply some heavy crit chance to himself as a team leader. I can't remember what his team leader passive is. I think it's apply agility downs to the other team if you like deal a critical hit or something like that. His kit like has to do with agility downs and crits. It's okay. Nothing I would necessarily use too often. John Stewart, Green Lantern, not very good. He did get a rework, but I don't really find him very useful at all. And then we got Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, which I am going to put at a B. You can use him in the beginning of the game because his basic attack applies a shield to a random team, and he can stun an enemy, which is kind of nice as well, and he can apply shields to the entire team. But once you get him to L1 is when you really start to see the team leader aspect of it, when he can apply, well, I guess it's just rank 5. When he has his team leader and can apply debuff immunity to the entire team. So that's pretty useful. But other than that, I really don't use Green Lantern. I mean, I'd rather have like Medfill as a lead. But you can't farm Medfill. So Green Lantern it is. Farm him. Since there's really not a whole lot to farm. There's a lot of Green Lantern nodes. So he's good enough to farm, definitely. Harley Quinn. White Vaccine. We're going to go with C. I like her skin, for one. Her skin is absolutely awesome. I love it. But her kit is okay. The only thing I think that I really like about Harley is that she can hit like a truck. She can definitely pop, and she has some power, no doubt about it. If you can put her in with some like strength teams or something, she can apply agility down, much like Green Arrow can, but she can call an assist on somebody if you have her with some strength up teammates, and you can really do some work. You can really one-shot people pretty easily with her. Harley, the other Harley, I'm going to go with A. I absolutely love this girl. Harley is one of the characters that is what we call a turn 0 taunter once you get her to legendary rank. If you can turn 0 taunt, that is one aspect of the team PvP that you really need to focus on. At some point, you need to have turn 0 taunters. Harley is the best turn 0 taunter to me for early game. Out of all the characters that you can farm in the very beginning, Harley Quinn, plus she has retaliations, she has evades. Her kit is really, really nice, and it gets even better as you get her to legendary rank. So I would farm the crap out of Harley Quinn. No doubt about it. Huntress, another character which I absolutely love. She is pretty much useless, though, at the beginning of the game. She does not become very useful, kind of like Cheetah, until later on, until you get to legendary powers, when you can unlock those legendary powers, and then she really starts to shine. She has a heal immunity on one of her attacks. Every time she kills an enemy, she can apply heal immunity, which prevents revives, which is definitely very, very useful. And her rank 5 unlock as a passive can do out of turn attacks to all enemies under 25% health, and so she can finish off opponents without it being her turn, and she can prevent them from reviving all at the same time. She's definitely really useful. She has evades as well, speed ups, and all of that stuff. She's definitely awesome. Frost. She's going to go with a B. I do like Frost, but she's only useful in... She really, really is useful in stun teams. If you can put Killer Frost with Hawk Girl, absolutely amazing. And some other stun comps, she does really good. Lex Luthor, 100% the #1 character you need to farm at all times, twice a day, 3 times a day, however much you can. His kit is amazing, the best leader you can get, the earliest leader that you can get, since you unlock his leadership ability at rank 4 instead of at rank 5. So yeah, farm all of his nodes all of the time, every single day, no matter what. Power Girl. She is a, you know what, I'm going to put Power Girl at a C. I don't personally like Power Girl. She is another turn 0 taunter, just like Harley, which she can jump into the battlefield at turn 0 and get a taunt. She can keep that taunt and death immunity and basically be a pain in the ass, but I personally have zero trouble against her. Anybody that puts on Power Girl, to me, is super easy to go against. You have anybody that can strip immunities on your team, and she's basically useless if she doesn't have death immunity on there, and she's kind of slow. She doesn't start off very fast, and it takes her a while to, you know, get her turn, and so you can almost kill her, strip her immunities, and do all that stuff and get rid of her before she even goes. But if you let her go and she can build up those strength ups, she can hit pretty hard. Siren. I like Siren. She can only go in as certain team comps though, and kind of stand alone in a sense too. Because one of her kits, especially in the beginning, she can be a lot of trouble for a lot of people at the beginning of the game, because if she applies bleeds to an opponent and that opponent takes bleed damage, she gets evades for every bleed damage. So she can stack evades up to 10, 15 evades, and it's impossible to hit her. And she can just keep applying bleeds over and over on you and just never be able to hit her, which in case you really need characters like Deadshot. But in the beginning, with new players, there's not a lot of characters, not a lot of heroes that can hit Siren And so she is definitely very useful, and even later on down the road, she can definitely be a lot of trouble if you put her on a bleed comp team, which is definitely a lot of fun. I do like it. Yellow Lantern Sinestro, probably the worst character in the game. I don't even know why he's in the game. I would honestly rather have all of these characters than a Rebirth 5 Yellow Lantern Sinestro. I don't know. I don't know why he's in there. White Lantern Sinestro, I'm going to put him at A because he is, in the beginning of the game, he is the only character. No, there's two. I take that back now that I'm looking at the list. Two other characters that can revive the team. So he can revive himself, he can revive the team up to like 2 times. And so when you have a hero that dies, if he's a team leader, if he has the team leader passive unlocked, he can revive that teammate again and again. And he can do each teammate over and over as long as he doesn't die. So that is very useful, and he does have a lot of other things where he can apply mends, he can apply heals, I think shields. So he's definitely a useful character. I really like him, and can go really good in red alerts as well, so you can throw him in there. Solomon Grundy, I'm going to go with C. He's okay. Solomon Grundy's okay. If you can, he applies Enrage to himself. He can apply Taunt to himself, and he can counterattack anybody that hits him. But at least in the beginning, I don't really find very much use out of him. And I honestly find his strength, for as big as he is and as strong as he is and as mean as he looks, he doesn't hit very hard. I don't think he hits very hard. So I don't necessarily think he's really all that useful. Star Sapphire, the only other S tier character in the beginning, I would go Lex, Star, Arcus. 100% every single time, as much as you can possibly do. Lex is only farmable in campaign. Star Sapphire and Arcus only in red alerts. Star Sapphire is in the campaign later on, but these two characters, when you see those in the red alerts, farm them 100% all the time, as much as you possibly can, 2 or 3 times a day. Swamp Thing. I'm going to actually go with D. He is another revive character. He can revive himself. He can possibly revive the whole team. He can... I don't know. He's more useful to me in the beginning. I can slot Swamp Thing in for red alerts, and he can apply mends to everybody. He can heal everybody. He can apply a true overheal to everybody. So as far as red alerts go, he can be pretty useful. He can revive teammates as well, along with himself and the rest of the team, as long as the rest of the team dies first and then he dies last. But I honestly, I just don't think he's very useful. He can do all that stuff, but I don't know. I don't really like him all that much. Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira, I'm going to go with a B. And if it was me, I would actually put her as an A just because I really like her. I really like her kit, and I really like her as a character. But realistically, I think that I would put her at a B. She does do a lot of things. She can purge a lot of buffs, debuffs from herself and from all the allies. She can apply buffs to the entire team as well. And so she is a team leader, though. That's almost one of her downsides, is that she does need to be a team leader to really shine. Last up, we got Zatanna. Is pretty much useless. Day one, she is the only healer you have, and you can complete red alerts with her. But honestly, I don't find her useful at all. She can purge buffs on the enemy team. She can apply a heal, but it's not an overheal and it's not a shield. And so if you have one particular character you need to heal up, you have to heal the entire team. And if the health is maxed out on 3 other tunes, then it does basically nothing. And so I don't know. I kind of wish if they changed her kit to be like an overheal, like if it went from a heal into an overheal, that would make her a million times more useful to me. But the fact that it doesn't go into an overheal or a shield, I find her pretty much useless, and once you get past the first week of her. But anyways, that is my tier list. That's my opinion. And just to recap, I mean, S tier means farm them 100% every single day, all day long, as much as you can. A tier, I love these characters and would certainly recommend it based on future and present time, just for the simple fact of team comps and diversifying your roster. White Lantern for reviving. You got Huntress, which has heal immunity. Harley Quinn, turn 0 taunters, retaliations. Cheetah for speed up manipulation on spawn and strength ups and all of that. Captain Cold for speed downs. Chemo can do absolutely everything. He can taunt, speed down, bleed. So A is 100% for now and for later. Not every character in A tier is useful at the beginning, but they're all useful later on. B, I find them pretty useful either now or later, but you don't necessarily have to farm them. C is kind of going to be up to you. And then D, I wouldn't even worry about doing it. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you did find it useful. And again, that is just geared towards new players only, the first couple chapters of campaign, and only what you can farm in the red alerts, and that's pretty much it. This is just my opinion, and so you're welcome to disagree. Post it in the comments if you like, but hopefully it did help you out. If you're looking for any other new player guides, check I guess the playlist and find some, and they should be in there. We got a raid one. We'll also have a 30-day roster review, which is going to be really exciting in a few days. But either way, guys, I will see y'all again soon. Y'all take it easy. I am out. Peace.